I speak today in strong support of my bill, the Expediting Federal Broadband Deployment Review Act. This bipartisan legislation, which I'm proud to lead with Rep. Angie Craig from Minnesota, will help streamline broadband expansion to deliver fast, reliable internet to communities who need it most by creating a new system for broadband deployment requests on federal land. This legislation increases expansion by directing the National Telecommunications and Information Administration to establish an interagency strike force to support federal land management agencies' review of requests to deploy broadband over federal land. Colorado is the heart of the Rocky Mountain West, with more than 24 million acres of federal land. Roughly 36% of the total acreage of our state is federal land serving multiple purpose uses, from conservation to recreation to commercial activity. Of course, these diverse uses mean that federal land is also under the jurisdiction of multiple federal agencies: the National Park Service, the Forest Service, the Bureau of Land Management. And these agencies often have different and duplicative permitting processes that can result in what should be a simple broadband permit being delayed due to red tape. Rural and ski communities on our western slope are often surrounded by federal lands, meaning they face greater difficulty in building out basic infrastructure such as broadband. This results in communities which are sometimes left behind compared to other places in Colorado. And in this day and age, reliable high-speed internet should not be considered a luxury. Families, students, and small businesses need to be able to access this important service. In addition, as a former cop for 10 years, I know that modern law enforcement relies on broadband access to quickly identify and interdict threats in our communities. Without reliable service, public safety operations would be less coordinated as emergency responders face delays, and this can derail public assistance. By law, federal agencies are required to grant or deny broadband installation applications within 270 days, but unfortunately, these deadlines are often missed. In fact, the U.S. Government Accountability Office reports that roughly half the communications use applications submitted to BLM and the Forest Service from fiscal year 2018 to 2022 either exceeded the 270-day deadline or just didn't have enough data to say whether the deadline had even been met. And the result is broadband developers report that deployments in rural areas are taking an average of 5 to 10 years to complete. I live in a rural area. I know personally about the challenges of getting access to broadband, and it's completely unacceptable that rural communities who are already underserved are facing these challenges. And so I'm proud to lead to serve as a leading voice for permitting reform for not just broadband, but also a wide variety of energy generation and other infrastructure projects. The bill we are considering today is an important part of this broader work in the permitting space, and so I urge my colleagues to join me in this bipartisan legislation.